Samuel, thanks for having us. And so what is Hautlence presenting this year?
So thanks a lot for coming. You see, the first thing we're presenting is a brand new booth. So it's an exciting milestone for the brand, as we are for the first time in many years back at the fair.
Yeah.
So I think that's one big highlight.
Kind of a statement.
Exactly. And
The rebirth.
Exactly. And speaking of the statement, we have a big statement behind us, a nice talking piece, an art piece that also represents the direction, all of that DNA, everything that's come together. So this piece is an old TV from 1962, so it's over 60 years old. And what we've done is we have this clash of the old style TV with the modern TVs that we have today.
Because inside we have something that we see in one of your timepieces, a new timepiece. It was kind of a new, you already showed it last year with the first edition, but this year you're expanding a little bit further. Tell us a bit more about this Linear 2.
Exactly. So the Linear 2 is the one I'm wearing. So what's different this time is we have a PVD black case. So we've gone to the other extreme. Everybody likes to say pink is the new black, green is the new black. For us, black will always be the new black. And so what we did here is we went to, as I mentioned, the other extreme, and we have a steel case, but coated in PVD. So much darker hues, darker tones. And what that does is it allows us to highlight those elements even more.
Okay. And can you remind us a little bit the working principles of this watch, of its mechanics?
So what's special there is we have a new sporty case, so very much in line with the TV shape. So here again, that nice TV. Much sportier, a black rubber strap in that case. On the side of the movement, what we have is we have a tourbillon with a double hairspring, an in-house movement. And what we have is a jumping retrograde hours, which are shown linearly on the left side.
All right. So what other pieces are you introducing here?
So what else we have? A special piece is a collaboration. So Hautlence has always stood for collaboration since its inception almost 20 years ago. And so what we did here is we worked together with Black Badger. And Black Badger is very much known for his luminescent material, also with other companies that he's worked with, and very much in line with these lines that we see here. What we have is a piece that the Vagabond with his rendition. So what he's taken is our kind of canvas with a lot of negative space and added these luminescent material.
Could you tell us a little bit more about this collaboration? How did it start?
It was not at all a linear process, I think. We started off with just this bouquet of crazy ideas, and as different ideas started to develop in different directions, we really tried to just let them blossom however they would. And some turned out really good, some were apocalyptically bad, and actually ended up with kind of a whole cluster of ideas. And then I think a lot of the process was actually figuring out what we could remove and still make it exciting and dramatic, but without going too over the top and making something that was then off-brand. So that's something that, to be honest, I struggle with on a daily basis, is knowing self-editing, knowing when it's exotic and fantastic and when it becomes silly and over the top.
Well, thank you for being that honest about it. And you, Simon, what were you looking at?
So I think for us, as you mentioned, I think the authenticity between the brands, it was important to find out that sweet spot between the clash of these two worlds. Because it's easy to overdo it, like you said, where you go much too far. And I think here it was, removing and getting to the essence of all of that. And I think that was the difficulty. We can always go with, make it a gigantic loom bomb, but at the same time, it wouldn't represent the two of us. So I think that was difficult, finding that sweet spot between.
But that's something that I think we actually landed on quite a nice solution for it. That what I really keyed off on your work is the use of negative space. That for me, it's almost more of an architectural piece. When you're designing a building, you're looking at where the building sits, the place it inhabits. And I don't think there's as much of that in the watch industry. If we would have crammed a whole bunch of subdials and extra complications on it, you would lose the effect of, like on the walls, having these thin Tron lasers of light. They need room to flex. They need room to breathe, so to speak. So actually knowing what to remove, again, it's this balance.
Yeah, and without being gimmicky either.
That's the word I was trying to think of, gimmicky. It would be very easy to make it something that looked like a movie prop. It would look cool if you were a character in a movie, but when you're buying a coffee at Starbucks, you're like, I look like an idiot. Obviously, we don't want that.
But I think in regard to art, what's also important is to give that person, the viewer, the person who's wearing it, the possibility to see what they want to see. And so at the same time, trying to define what we wanted, we needed to keep that aspect open as well. And so by having these lines which aren't completely defined, what we do is we allow that the viewer to really decide to see what they see. So you build that connection, which at the end of the day, that's what you use a watch for, is building that connection. And so we have these lines. Some people, like you, like to say that it's 80s arcade game. I kind of see a sky, a city landscape, from the skyline. Some people have said, it looks like the Labyrinth, an older piece that we've had. And so everybody really sees their own thing in that piece.
Coming back on these two models, are they limited editions?
Both are limited, so both will be limited to 28, a number which we have had previously as well. The 8 is very much reminiscent of our logo. And so I think what that shows is it signifies that we will always produce limited editions, because I think that not only allows the consumer to have a piece that's very special, but it also allows us to innovate further. So we're almost forced to constantly innovate.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having us, and best of luck for the show.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy the show as well.